From the Orthodox or South?
Both.
What do you feel most comfortable with?
Both. So I need the people to say, I can't do this, or I'm not good enough, or I'm not strong enough, or this person gonna knock me out, because that makes me get up and, you know, turn into Super Saiyan.
Right.
Terence Crawford had an excellent interview with Shannon Sharpe. I'm sure many of you guys seen it, but if you don't know, now you know. If you haven't checked it out, go check it out after you watch this video and hit that like button for your boy before you leave. But Bud Crawford came a long, long, long way. If you've been following boxing for the past decade or so, Terence Bud Crawford came a long, long, long way from that guy who could barely talk, who could, you know, he came a long way. Excellent, excellent, excellent interview. Probably one of the best interviews. Actually, it was the best interview I've seen of Terence Bud Crawford to date. 3-hour-long interview. He even showed Shannon Sharpe, Uncle Shannon Sharpe, how to box in this interview. A lot of things were said. But I'm only going to be able to talk about a few things in this particular video. We may do a live stream later, talk about things in more detail, because now we see where Terence Crawford is at, even with this Canelo fight. We got more details about this Canelo fight than any other interview that we've seen thus far up to this particular moment.
You move up in weight, you lose some of the power. But do you feel that you'll still be able to maintain that level of quickness moving up 2 weight classes? I mean, that's going to be 14 pounds, moving up 14 pounds. Are you still going to be able to possess? Because everybody says, well, Canelo has power. That's his natural fighting weight. You're moving up. That's not your natural fighting weight. You have the speed advantage. So are you going to be able to maintain that speed advantage and still be able to pack a punch?
Of course. You know, I think, you know, if you can punch, you can punch.
Okay.
You know, it may not have the same effect that it did on a smaller guy, on a bigger guy, but if you sharp, you sharp.
Right.
You know, and I don't got to knock him out. I just got to beat him.
Right.
A lot of people thinking just because a person punch harder than, you know, another fighter, that they automatically going to win. No, it's a lot of fighters that lost, you know, and they punch way harder than the fighter that they lost to.
Right.
Canelo's not just a puncher. I don't know why. That's
what people believe, huh?
It's just like this. They don't know boxing. They just looking at him being strong.
The bigger man.
He's a great boxer. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Right.
People taking away from his boxing skills and just thinking that he's just this puncher when that's not true. So that's why I laugh, because we're not just looking at Canelo as a puncher. We're looking at him as a whole fighter, a complete fighter. You know, he can take a punch, he can deliver a punch, he can counter punch you, he can box you, he can punch on you, you know what I mean? Good body puncher, good, you know, fighter that got good balance, he never getting out of position. So we looking at all that.
Where were you when you decided to say, you know what, my next great adventure, Canelo?
It's crazy. I don't even know. I don't even know where I was at. But it was like, I'm always willing to challenge myself. Like today with you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? No, it's just in me.
That's the first thing he did. He came in, oh, I tackled you.
It's just in me. It's just the competitive nature in me. You know, if I was sitting next to Michael Jordan, I'd be like, man, let's play one-on-one.
Right.
Let me see how many I can score on you. You know, that's just me. So accomplishing so much and failing to have the Manny Pacquiao fights, you know, the Cotto fights and the Shane Mosley that all the other great fighters had when these fighters was on their way out, you know, that made them, you know, the star that they is. Not having those guys to share the ring with,
right.
It's like, oh man, what can you do to leapfrog those fighters? Why not go up 3 weight classes? I wanted to go up 3, just to be honest. I didn't want to fight at 154. I wanted to go.
So you want to go straight from 47 to 68?
Yes, I did. It's documented. I wanted to go from 147 to 168, just because I want to challenge myself.
But that's a...
Yeah, and that's the joy of it. That's the joy of it. Everybody's like, man, boy, you crazy. Yeah, you got to be crazy to think of things
Yeah,
like
because
that.
not a whole lot of guys. I mean, Roy went from 168 to one, and he weighed to heavyweight, and I think he weighed 193 in that fight. So that was basically, I mean, that's 25 pounds that he went up. You'd be going up 21 pounds. And normally guys like go up incrementally. You know, you fought it because if I'm not mistaken, I think Sugar Ray and Duran fought at lightweight at 130. The super middle?
Yeah. That's the excitement about it, you know? When I look at it, like, I always had this mind frame of the bigger they are, the harder they fall.
Okay.
I've been beating up big dudes all my life.
Because they underestimate your bud.
It's just, even if they didn't, I'm gonna beat you up. You know, I can fight.
Right.
You know, so if you watch, like, all these dudes bigger than me.
Yeah.
You know, like, I don't care, but I'm gonna find a way to win, no matter what.
Okay. You win this fight, then what? Where you go from there, bud? You can't go back down.
I might go to heavyweight. Nah. I just play.
But who? I mean, once let's just say for the sake of argument, and I'm gonna say, you know, Bud, you win this fight at 168. You can't fight someone else. You can't fight anybody at 147 because everybody will say, why is he fighting? Yeah.
I can't make 147 either. Anyway.
You can't make 147
Hell
again?
no, it's over.
What about 54? Junior middle.
Man, we're gonna go to 168.
So you gonna go to 168 and stay there?
I ain't thinking about nothing but 168.
Number there.
168.
Is it over after that?
I don't know. I'm not gonna say that. I'm not gonna say that.
What be left?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying.
You would have scaled the 7 summits.
Yeah.
And finished off with Mount Everest.
We might do a rematch. You never know. Never.
Despite what people may say, I'm too small, I ain't never did this, I never did that, that gets me excited. That gets me motivated. That gets me ready to do this. That gets me ready to go out there and show everybody, prove everybody wrong again, right? Now, a lot of this stuff been happening to Terence Crawford ever since the amateur days, even before, long before, back years ago. Remember we used to always talk on the channel how Crawford just couldn't get no fights. It was hard. He had a hard time, most notably once he got to 47, getting some of the marquee name fighters in the ring. And for Crawford, that's been a thing his whole career.
I started going to church a little more. And then I started fighting, but I wasn't fighting that much. So I was really getting down on myself because I'm like, man, I'm not getting no fights. Like, I got to go back in the streets. I got to hustle. I'm like, man, what I'm going to do? You know what I mean? I'm like, man, I told both of them, I said, man, I'm about to quit boxing. I was like, man, boxing ain't paying me.
They ain't put no beer, ain't put no food on, ain't doing nothing.
Yeah, and it's like, God just started making things happen. I went to training camp with Tim Bradley.
Wow.
You know, and that's the start of everything. I sparred Tim Bradley, and he like, man, you ain't no sparring partner. I'm laughing, and he was like, man, he looking at me like, no,
real talk.
you not a you a world champion.
Wow.
It's like, you a world champion, and I'm like, man, I just want to fight.
Right.
He like, so they not giving you no fights. When the last time? I said, man, I only fought like 2 times in 2 years. I'm like, I probably fought 4 times in 2 years.
Wow.
And they was 4-rounders. So I'm really not making no money. I'm fighting for pennies and stuff like that. And I'm like, man, I can't be training boxing and, you know.
Not making no money. You got to make sense.
Yeah, so it was just like, I told Bo, man, I'm about to quit. So they called Bo. He sent me down there, talked to Tim. Tim called our manager up, and he like, what y'all gonna do with him? He was like, cause I'll buy him out his contract right now. He was like, y'all don't know what y'all sitting on. Y'all sitting on this dude, and this dude is cold.
Right.
So Cameron was like, don't nobody wanna fight him, and he can't get no fights, and this and that and this. And so I went down to California. I was supposed to fight on a Golden Boy show. They was gonna sign me. The guy comes to the weigh-in and say, man, that's Terence Crawford. I know him. I know him from the amateurs. He was ranked #1. I'm not fighting him.
Damn.
Straight like that. I done made weight and everything. I'm at 135, and I'm like, man. He like, I'm not fighting. He left. He left. So I'm stuck with no opponent. They ain't give me no money. So the guy at 140, they had signed this guy.
Right.
So they had all this little money in him. And his opponent didn't even show up. So he's undefeated, but he fight at 140. I'm undefeated. I fight at 135. I go to Gomez and I'm like, hey, let us fight.
I fight it.
You know what I mean? I fight him. And he like, nah. I'm like, whoever win,
Get the money.
get to sign. You sign him.
Okay.
He already signed with you, but if I win, you sign me. And if he lose, you cut him.
Right.
They like, no, we got too much money in him. And I'm like, all right, cool. You know what I mean? Send me home. I don't even want to watch the fight. Send me home. So they send me home. That's how I got with Top Rank.
And one thing that I always stated, and we talked about in this channel, is that how Terence Crawford is one of the fighters today who I could see be competitive in any era. This is one thing I've been saying for years in regards to Bud Crawford, is that this guy is a generational talent, and he's somebody that I can see be competitive in any era. And now Terence Bud Crawford states this himself on this interview.
After this, I think people will start respecting me more, but at the same time, they have some type of excuse.
Right.
You know, it's always going to be some type of excuse on why Terence Crawford was successful and why he won the fights that nobody thought he was going to win, or he did exactly what he said he was
Right.
going to do. But it was a reason why it happened at the time, or something wasn't right. So I just take it in stride.
There hadn't been very many 5 division champs. You beat Canelo at the weight and beat him at that weight. I mean, people are gonna have to say Bud Crawford with Floyd Mayweather, with Sugar Ray Robinson, with Manny Pacquiao. They're gonna have to. They don't have a choice.
I'm gonna say this, and I'm not just saying it. Terence Crawford could have competed with all those guys. All of them. I don't see not one fighter that I couldn't compete with. From Roberto Duran to Sugar Ray Robinson. I can't say Sugar Ray Robinson because I didn't see him.
Right.
But the Manny Pacquiao's.
The Hagler, the Hearns.
Hagler was
160. Yeah, he fought it.
160.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about those guys around my weight.
Yeah. Well, okay. Yeah.
Even Hagler.
Yeah.
You know, I could have competed with, but the guys that was around my weight,
Sugar Shane Mosley and all those. Yeah.
I compete with
Cotto.
all of them. With all of them, hands down.
But back then, Bud, guys fought. I mean, now guys are gonna retire with 50 fights. I mean, I think, who was that? Duran at one point was like 78-0. These guys had like 100 fights. Sugar Ray Robinson was like, what, 200 and 200 wins and 5 losses or something.
Well, boxing has evolved.
It's because they're fighting damn near every other week.
So when you look at boxing like we was talking about football.
Yes.
Or you can't blindside, crack back and all that stuff.
Yes.
Boxing have evolved to the point where we learned that we don't have to fight so much.
Right. Because there's more money involved, and so you don't have to fight for 10,000 when guys can make X amount of dollars and fight 1 to 2 times a year.
Yes.
No.
And then when you look at those fighters that got all those fights, look at their health.
Yeah.
Why would I want to make so much money if I can't enjoy it?
Can't enjoy it.
Well,
But don't know I've made the money.
Facts. And to have somebody steal the money because I don't know what's going on.
Right.
So health is wealth.
When did you watch the Charlo fight and Canelo?
Yeah.
Did you watch that fight? Did you take anything?
I was there.
Did you take anything from it?
I felt Charlo just came for a payday.
Really?
But I really can't say, but he could have did more. He did a lot of good things in there that I felt as if he would have know or had the confidence. He would have did way better than what he did.
Do you feel that Charlo could have done more?
Yes, that's what I'm talking about.
Oh, you talking about Charlo? Yeah.
Yeah,
You think he was afraid of Canelo's power?
I do. I think he respected too much. You know, I do. But still, all in all, he did what he had to do to make it to the 12th round.
Are you gonna respect? You gonna respect it?
I don't know. We're gonna see. I never got hit by him, so I can't say
Right.
if I am or I am. But I'm definitely gonna respect.
But you gonna make him respect you?
Of course.
Cause you got to, cause he'll walk you down if you don't.
Well, that's his thing.
He try to walk people down now.
He gonna do what he gonna do, and I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do.
Who up will be there? I got to see this.
And if nobody in the world believes Terence Crawford, he truly believes in himself. He truly believes that he's competitive in any era. He could have competed against any of the great fighters from yesteryear. And he also truly believes that he got some smoke for Canelo Alvarez. But one last thing, right? And of course, he talked about many things in his interview about Errol Spence and how could you be a fan of me and you could be a fan of Spence. Now, this is something that I've been saying as well. It's kind of crazy, right? But what's one thing I've always stated over the years during the Bud Spence saga, the Spence Crawford saga, was that I like Errol Spence. I'm a fan of Errol Spence. I always said I was a fan of Errol Spence Jr. There's nothing really to dislike about Errol Spence Jr., but the whole back and forth between fans, for me, God damn. The whole back and forth with the fans and the A side, B side, 70-30, wrong side of the street, all that was fun and games, and it did nothing.
Why can't you like me and like him?
Yeah.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
And if I like Bud, that don't mean I hate Earl.
Right.
If I like Earl, that don't mean I hate Bud.
Right.
But sometimes it seems to be now, if I like something,
I can't like him.
right.
But it's only like that in our community.
Mm-hmm.
When you look at the Mexican community, they support each other.
Yeah, bro. They ride hard for them.
When you got two Mexicans fighting each other, man, the Mexican community wins.
They go celebrate whoever.
They gonna win.
They are.
They gonna win.
Mm-hmm.
When you see us fight each other, it's not like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I just always felt like we our own downfall. Blacks, Mexicans rule boxing from the beginning. But we gotta do better with supporting each other.
And this is something that I've been saying as well. I mean, maybe two great minds think alike, but the Latino community show unwavering support for each other, regardless of what's going on. If it's two Mexican fighters, two Latino fighters, everybody wins. But when it's two black fighters, there tends to be a lot of things that tends to escalate further beyond the sport itself. And it gets kind of crazy at times. But there needs to be certain guys to bring things back down to a level that's reasonable and suitable for people just to be normal boxing fans. But whatever the case, man, Terence Bud Crawford gave a great interview with Uncle Shannon Sharp. Excellent interview from the OG, despite the fire that he's under right now with the recent allegations against him. Salute to the OG. We stand behind you, bro. But Bud Crawford, man, I'm so excited to see how he performs in his fight against Canelo Alvarez. It's good to see the growth of this guy over the years, man. If you've been following Bud for some years, man, and a lot of guys that's been around from his time when he first came on the scene, a lot of those guys ain't here no more. They either ain't here no more, I'm not saying it like that, but you know what I mean. They're not here no more as far as they retire from the sport, or they're shells of themselves, or they're not at that level they once were. But Terence Bud Crawford's still here, still at the top of this game, and he has a mega fight coming up with arguably the greatest challenge that he could possibly have in boxing today against Saul Canelo Alvarez. But go check out the interview on Club Shay Shay's podcast. We may do a live stream later on to talk about this in more details, because there was so much he spoke about in his interview that I can't put on this, that I simply just can't fit into this video. But salute to everybody. Hope you guys have a good day. Catch you guys on the next one. Like, subscribe, holla at your boy. Peace out.